Can we get this ball rolling? I'm tired of waiting.
Want them down, blow them out.
Man, oh man, oh man. Now, folks.
And I want to promise you one thing. When the action starts, I will be back.
Good.
I wouldn't miss it for anything.
Bring money, lawyers, and guns. Forget the lawyers. Just bring money and guns.
Oh, I got plenty of weapons there. Believe me.
800. Nobody wants to talk to us today, gentlemen. 800.
I don't blame them.
800-313-9443. Oh, I do.
Jeffreys Bay. I mean, who would want to go there?
You guys talk soccer. You talk mining stocks. Sometimes you guys talk language, and I don't even understand it.
Listen, John.
Yes.
It shows you our depth.
Well, then, excuse me, because I must be as deep as a mud puddle and twice as shallow.
I hate to admit this, but I'm being
Robbie,
distracted.
he said it.
I'm being distracted by my iPhone, which has the ability to broadcast the surfing contest taking place at Sunset Beach in Hawaii as we speak. So.
Oh God, it's sometimes with you guys it's like herding cats. You ever tried to herd cats?
At least I'm not watching soccer.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
Well,
all right.
John, I always said he was lowbrow.
It doesn't take much to entertain the man.
I mean, don't you like to get in the stands and mix it up?
Well, I never understood.
I mean, where's your sporting blood?
I never understood the attraction of the game to begin with, let alone all the brouhaha, the fist fighting, the murdering, the rampaging.
On the field.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, come on, guys. Do it the American way. Suit up with a bunch of plastic on you and go beat the hell out of somebody.
Yeah, and some 350-pound creature will fall upon me.
Richard in Alabama, help us out of this, will you? Hello, Richard. How you doing?
I can't help you. Barack Obama cannot be convicted of treason because treason against what nation? What Constitution?
You mean the one that's been... No, the Constitution is still there.
The judges tell you 5 days a week it ain't there.
I don't give a damn what a federal judge will say. These guys are going to hang it just as well as anybody else.
And what's the name of our nation,
they get
really?
justice for them, too.
What was that, Richard?
What's the name of our nation?
The United States of the United States.
Well, it was the States of America until Abe Lincoln changed it.
Well, and it's always been, let me get your take on this one, Richard. It's always been a matter of curiosity for me. It has been said and written about old Abe Lincoln that, in fact, that what he wanted to do was restore the country to prior to 1861, the Civil War. And conveniently, this guy went away for obvious reasons. He made a lot of bankers mad because he didn't want to pay 25% interest to fund the North's war on the South. But it was written that Abe wanted to return to prior to 1861. But just a few short years after they killed the guy off, we had Reconstruction. It's exactly what the Federalists had wanted right from the outset of this country.
Well, he changed the name of the nation immediately upon taking office. He changed the insignia on the collars. All the brands on the Army mules was SA, States of America. He changed it all to U.S. He did that immediately.
Well, this country is supposed to be called the United States, small u, small s.
No, the District of Columbia is called United States.
It's a district. It's not a state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the United States is D.C.
It's only 11 square miles, and look how they've screwed everything up. Such a small group of concentrated corruption.
Well,
and look what they've done.
I don't want to weary you, but I can trace the chain of command all the way back from any lawyer in your community all the way back to the United Nations. And every attorney, every judge, every police officer is under the command of the United Nations, and I don't see any involvement by anybody that we elect or could elect.
how can you trace the lineage of every lawyer back to the UN?
All right. In Alabama, we have something called the Unified Judicial System, which combines the bar and the judiciary and the Attorney General all into one unified judicial system. And from that, you go above that, you got the Chief Judge in Atlanta. And above him, you got the U.S. Judicial Conference, which is the guys who write all the codes and the rules of court. And all the rules of court in Alabama have to fit within and not contradict the rules that come from the U.S. Judicial Conference.
Was that changed around 1946 with the Administrative Procedures Act?
That's right, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and all those guys, you think they're appointed by the Chief Justice. They used to be the staff of the Chief Justice, but they're not anymore. Now they're nominees of the International Monetary Fund, and the IMF is not part of our government either. Even though the Treasury Secretary has an office at the IMF, he's only an employee. He's not really in control of the IMF. The IMF is actually controlled by China, Saudi Arabia, and all the creditors of United States Incorporated.
That's in bankruptcy. We'll break. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Let's continue with the phone calls with my guest every Tuesday, special edition of the National Intel Report with Mr. Robert Chapman of the International Forecaster. Bob, if somebody wants to email you, where do they do that at?
bob@intforecaster.com. bob@intforecaster.com.
All righty. Frank in North Carolina. Hello, Frank.
Hey, how are y'all tonight?
Good.
Well, we listen a lot over this way via satellite. Come in loud and clear. I'd like to thank you guys for all you're doing for our once great nation.
Once great, yes.
I'd like to thank Bob and Robbie for getting me started down what I feel to be the right road with precious metals: gold, silver, brass, lead, steel. We're all old codgers.
I like the steel cord lead myself.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about hatches and pitchforks and that sort of thing, too. But we're all old codgers. We remember what it means to be a man, but what about these younger generations?
Oh, the only thing they know how to do is text. I just saw a thing today that they call it sexting. The 25% of the kids that are using these new devices are actually texting each other pictures of their naked little bodies. Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, it just sounds so much fun to me.
Well, it sounds like Sodom and Gomorrah. And
it is Sodom and Gomorrah.
And how do you tell one of these imaginative little kids that, hey, you're going the wrong direction? When they see their peers all doing it themselves, it's like, oh, this is natural and normal. Here's my question. And Frank, you're from a different place and a different time.
I'm afraid so.
Yeah, but what would
I'm only 55.
What would you have done, Frank, to one of your kids? You caught them doing these sort of things?
Well, all my kids were homeschooled, and then we were very much pioneers in that back in the day here.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also got a degree in ministry, so I guess my heart's been in a different wavelength for a long time. But
yes, I would say it has been.
I married a wonderful woman who got me on the right track. I got saved in prison 30 years ago, but some God straightened me out, and He gave me back my life. But I just wonder, and I really would like to ask Bob. I've heard him say it several times that he knows he's got people on the inside that our military is going to stand with us. I'm an oath keeper, by the way.
Good deal.
Even though I was never, and you're going to find this hilarious, I'm retired because of medical condition. I'm a retired CPS investigator. But I went to work doing that because I saw all the corruption. And I wanted somebody to be in there to let people know when they knocked on their door that I'm not here to take away your rights, but I'm here to make sure your kids are safe. And because somebody got irked at you about something, we've got a report But I'm just here to find the truth, not to ruin your family.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there are a lot of people in the younger generation that get caught up in drugs and all this abuse and everything, and then there are kids in trouble out there.
Well, Frank, and please do not take this the wrong way, but you know, the mere fact that somebody wants to drop a dime on somebody because they feel that they're not raising their children the right way. I mean, you just said it yourself, coming from a spiritual base. You cannot legislate, you cannot enforce morality or ethics or anything else.
No, you can't.
And you can't do it by banging on somebody's door, my friend.
That's something that is passed along from generation to generation, and I'm afraid that so many of our generation dropped the ball, you know.
Well,
I was born in '54, and, you know, I was a teenager in the late 60s, so we all know what was going on there in the early 70s.